Golly.
Trying to think what could go wrong. It's not even caught. Well, there they are, Pioneer 60 Z06. Now, this is Revere 1839, planted at March the 12th, I think. Morning guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Daniel and you are watching Triple R Farms, and it is Tuesday, June the 10th. So we're down here at Gray Rocks, and yes, it is wet, 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 wet. It just will not dry up. But we're gonna be moving the Rogator back to the shop, so we got like a 35-mile little jog here, so let's get it started. Woo, that is a long ride, but we made it back to the shop. James is out here. We had some parts that we ordered from our corn header, and they all came in, so he's out here putting them on, so we're gonna take a look at that. One thing I ordered, new gathering chains. These are these chains right here that bring the ear up into the header. Got brand new chains, and then also this little guide. Let's see. See this little guide right here? Little wear place for the chain. Anyway, a lot of these were worn out, so we went ahead and got brand new ones, but unfortunately we got to take the chain off to get to these, and then you just pop the new one back on. And then also don't know if you remember in one of the other videos, this little bearing right here was worn out. New bearing came in. It looks like Dad's already got it bolted all up, but that was another part we had to fix on the old Geringhoff. New chains are tight, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
Next thing we're going to be working on is I've got a problem on my rogator on the frame. I've got this big old bolt that we noticed was broke. And so me and Dad are going to start working on that. We got to get the thing jacked up and get that bolt out and then somehow get a new one in. So that's next on the list.
That's a torsion. That's a torsion bar right in here. That's your springs for this thing that help that airbag. Everything I do today is hard.
What if you unscrew it?
Yeah, I want to unscrew it and hit up on it maybe and free it up. Golly.
That's got a lot of tension on it.
You could put your jack
In the middle.
on this torsion bars right here and pick up on it, then loosen this one and knock the cap off. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, maybe we jack in the wrong place. Maybe we jack here. Let's do that, and then we'll loosen that bolt a little, see if that frees it up.
Why is it still tight? Must have a little air leak because my airbag already leaked down. That's why the jack's got tension on it. Just gonna crank it up, let it build up air real quick. To raise that airbag, we can get the jack out. We're gonna move the jack in a different spot, but see if we get some of that tension off of that bolt. A lot of tension on that thing. Well, we decided to tighten these nuts back up and leave it alone. I got the rogator mechanic. He is coming later on this week to look at my guidance. So we'll just let him take a look at it. So the guidance on the rogator is driving a little squirrely, and I'm having to manually nudge the machine over to get it lined up perfect. And it's always about 2 feet off to one side. So Trimble wants the rogator people to come out and recalibrate the wheel sensor that's out there on the wheel. That's how it knows where it is and what angle the wheels are. So anyway, while he's out there doing that, we'll get him to look at this. But we were just a little bit scared of this one. There's so much weight on it, so much pressure. We didn't want to make a big mistake. So that's where we are. Also, I got the Rogator in here. I had a leak right here, and I had that duct tape around it because when we were filling up, it was skeeting out and it would spray us. So anyway, I just duct tape it. But what we got in here is a hose barb that's joining these two hoses, and I guarantee it's probably brass and it's rusted out. And anyway, we're going to take these two hoses loose. I got a new barb coupling to put in there, and then we'll put it all back together. Well, it just broke. So the brass hose barb rusted out, so what do I replace it with? Another brass hose barb. That's all I could find, so it lasted for about 5 or 6 years, so we ought to be good. Yeah, like that. She'll be good to go. Gotta tighten it up. Now me and James won't be getting sprayed when we're filling up. Mark it off the list. So I think we're pretty much done with the corn header on what I wanted to fix on it this year. So I think she is pretty much ready to go. James is oiling the old gathering chains on there, the ones I swapped out last year. Anyway, he's oiling those up right now with some spray. And the one thing I have not done, it was a couple of videos ago, we were working in the shop on the corn header and I was adjusting the knife rollers. Now I was turning it by hand, making sure nothing was hitting or binding, but I have not actually hooked it up to the combine and actually ran it with the combine. So that's what I'm gonna do now. And if we don't hear any loud noises or any banging and everything looks okay, then we're ready to put it back on the trailer, put it back in the shed till we're ready for harvesting some corn, which will not be long because everything is happening fast this year. So I feel like we'll be harvesting corn really early this year. But let's grab a combine and let's see if we hear any loud noises. Hopefully we don't, and we can put it back in the shed. That's the one. This thing is not hooked. It's not even caught. Wow, it's jammed right here. I knew something was wrong when I couldn't get that drive shaft off. All right, I gotta let it down on the ground and see if we can rehook it. Now she's caught. So I'm gonna turn it on, and remember I adjusted these rollers. Anyway, just see if you hear any weird noises. Kind of go walk down row by row, make sure everything looks all right, no banging. You got to be kidding me. I've got to disengage the chopper knives? Come on. I don't know if y'all can see that message, but it is not going to let me engage the separator because it wants me to disengage the counter knives and That is on the chopper back there, so it won't let me engage. Every time. Turn off separator. So what that means is we're not gonna get this thing turning anytime soon. Alright, so here's the deal. This little lever right here, I cannot get it to go up in this top notch. This is what disengages your chopper knives. If so you want to shred the stuff coming out of the back of the machine, well, it knows I have a corn header hooked up, and it doesn't want you to have any of these knives engaged when you're in corn. But I cannot get this arm up to that top lever, that little notch right there. If I can get it up there, it would think that the knives are disengaged. So anyway, it's not gonna be solved anytime soon. You gotta go up in here. See all that trash? All that trash at the bottom of that chopper right there is just soybean and milo trash that's wedged up in those knives, and you've got to crawl up in here and you got to get a screwdriver and get all that trash out. It takes a while. That's why it's not letting them release any farther, because there's trash built up all in there. So whew, gonna be a really hot job, but all that's got to be removed. Alright, so remember I was talking about having trouble with my guidance on my sprayer. Well, this is where the sensor is on the wheel, and all this is how it comes from the factory from Rogator. And this is the way they get an angle on your steering. So this bolt is just welded to the frame, and this little guy right here looks like little tweezers holding the bolt. Anyway, that is going to this little sensor, and that's how it's getting the measurements for guidance and all. So hopefully they can calibrate this sensor and it'll calibrate right. If it does not calibrate, that means we'll probably have to get a new sensor right there. And then once it calibrates, then we'll take it out there, run it for a test drive. If it's still, the guidance is off 2 feet and not driving right, then it's probably on the Trimble side. So that is step one, getting that calibrated. So anyway, I was just going to show y'all where it's at and how it gets its steering angles. Oh man, this is definitely not going to be a fun job, but it's a job that has to be done. We're going to clean out the chopper knives on the combine. Going to be hot, going to be in a tight spot, got to be done. out and get some airflow in there. Alright, so if you remember yesterday, we were trying to lower these knives to turn the corn header on, and this is the reason they will not lower, because there's all kind of chaff that's stuck in these grates right here. These blades are supposed to move backwards. See that slot right there? So that blade is supposed to go into that slot, and that way it's getting out of the way of these chopper. And when you got trash and all jammed up in these cracks, like right here, it's packed so tight, these blades can't go backwards and get out of the way. So what you gotta do is you gotta go down each one of these little grates and clean it out and get all the trash out. Pull it out. So that's what we gotta do. We gotta clean all those grates out, which is gonna take me a while. So why don't we do a time lapse? Let it roll. Well, that wasn't as bad as I thought. So now you can clearly see all the grates now. That is where the blades are gonna go and disappear down to those cracks. And as you can see, we got them all clean. So when I lift this handle right here, when I lift it up, you should see those knives go down in those slots and disappear. So we're gonna lift this baby up and see what happens. And they're gone. Well, I think I got time to show y'all two more things before we end this video. So why don't we do a quick crop tour. Now, I'm not going to show you all of the soybean fields. Why don't we just go look at the first soybean we planted, and then we'll look at the first cornfield we planted. So this is Pioneer 60Z06. It's the first year I've ever planted this variety, and so far, I'd say it looks good. Planting date, we planted this April 29th. And boy, they look healthy. They got a really good color. No insect damage so far. Just a pretty looking bean. There is something flying around there. Y'all see that? I don't know what it is. Well, there they are. Pioneer 60Z06. Looking good. So this field right here was a cornfield that we had all the problems with the corn, and then we had the cold weather hit it hard, and then the nematodes came on. Oh. So it did turn around and start growing, and at least it looks like a corn plant now. It grew out of the nematode issues, but you can still see kind of some waviness out there, different size corn. That's just where we had the nematode issues, but it is going to make a cob, but I guarantee you it's not going to be that great of a yield, but it will be a yield. But looks a lot different now. Now this is Revere 1839, planted at March the 12th, I think, is what I looked up. Anyway, Revere 1839, March 12th. Now I'm not gonna walk in there too far because this corn is tasseling and I'm really allergic to that. So we'll just go about 2 rows in. We'll grab a couple of ears and we'll take a look at them. Easy, easy, easy. Leaves look good though. I don't see anything that looks crazy on them, even though we had all this rainy weather right there. That one. God. There they are. All right, let's see what we got. Well, they still got a long ways to go as far as filling out the kernels, but this is the first ear that I pulled this year. There you go. $42 long. $16, $18, $20, $22. $22 around. Well, that's not bad. But like I said, see how small the kernels are? They got a lot of filling out to do. But at least we're off to a good start. Look at there, a worm in there. Yep, he was working on it. Yep. you go. Alright, so that one's 38, even though we had a little worm damage. 38 by 18. So that one's 18. Not quite as big, not quite as big, but still a very, very decent cob. There's that worm. Well guys, that's probably gonna wrap it up for this video. That's just all we got time for in this one. But at least you got to see some of the beans, see what they look like, and you got to see some of our corn. But that's literally the first ears that I pulled this season. So we're off to a great start. We just got a long ways to go. But at least we got a chance to make a good yield. But that's gonna be it for this one, guys. So if you want to do me a favor, click that thumb. It means you like the video. We really appreciate when y'all do that. And the Triple R Farms logo over here. If you want to subscribe to our channel, just click on that logo and you can subscribe. But that's it. See y'all on the next one, guys. We're out.